planet Earth by narrowing the poverty issues and the unemployment and also net carbon emissions. Many of you know that well why we are talking about zero poverty, because you know that the economic structure that we are running right now across the world, that has divided the whole planet Earth by people with having and people those who do not have anything. This is a very segregated world because of the structure of the economy, and 1% of the populations is actually enjoying the 90% of the wealth, 99% of the wealth, and rest part of the people are actually starving with the rest, the rest. So how do we actually resolve that problem? And then the unemployment issues. Many of you know that, well, this was not the world that we are actually right now. This is a world of 7.5 billion people. And the way the population growth across the world is going on, every 25 years we're going to have another billion people in this planet Earth. And the whole globe is going to be full of people. And there are enormous problems that are going to happen. And if you being as a student, young youths, if you think that, well, there will be a job ready for you in the upcoming future, you are, and we all are totally wrong, that there won't be that many jobs for all of us. So how do we actually reduce that things in terms of addressing the issues of unemployment? That is something that we have to think about. Then we also know that, well, the planet Earth was actually given by the divine power for us to enjoy, but we are the one, we actually destroyed our neighborhoods, our community, our countries, our ocean, our, surface. Everything is destroyed by the climate effects, and we all know the reason of climate effects, and that's why we really need to focus on the net zero emissions. And if we can focus on these three vital points, these three, goals that the social business, concept has, given to us, I think we are going to get a beautiful planet Earth. And this is what is up to you. How do you actually think that you are going to be part of it? Today, we have a very esteemed group of panelists with me. All of them, most of them are very experienced because they are either, of course, in the academia, in many sense they are involved, and also they do have huge experience in regards to the entrepreneurial part. So let me try to, introduce one by one. I'll be going by the picture, the way they were there. In the middle, I have Dr. Khimji. Dr. Khimji is actually a professor in Sydney, Australia. He also wrote a very good book on, entrepreneurship. Okay, this is what is also, and he, in his, credentials, he was also an awardee for, Australian Innovator Award he got, and very much involved in entrepreneurial trainings and those things. And after Dr. Khimji, we have Farana Siddiq. Farana Siddiq is actually a senior lecturer and the assistant dean at the University of Kebangs in Malaysia. And she is also very involved in entrepreneurial journey and entrepreneurial educations, We do have Sheril Mapula. Sheril Mapula is actually a yearly fellow, and he has huge experience on entrepreneurial things, and he is actually from the Foundation University, Philippines, where he has contributed also in terms of changing, the regular curricula and also engaging students in many activities. After that, we do have also Mike. Michael is actually with the Payap, University from Thailand. He is also, Social Business Center co-founder of and director of the Center of the Social Impact. We have also Professor Lin Wing Xing from Taiwan. He is actually an accounting and information system professor, but exposed to many entrepreneurial journey and also education. So we're going to hear from them. And finally, we do have also Mr. Vishwajeet, who's actually a UNOS fellow and very popular and also very active in terms of transforming the young minds by giving, educations or lessons from the informal sector through online, how to convert young youths in terms of making them potential to become a good entrepreneur. So let us try to hear from them. I had actually a structured question for all the panelists individually, but the way from the morning that we have seen and observed that, well, the session is going to be running out of, I'm going to float two very common questions for all the panelists, a very common questions, because if you see the title, the 3 zeros from the campus, those who are involved in academia, we do have some responsibility from the service delivery point of view. What are we doing? An academic administrator from the academic institution side to address those cause, poverty, elevation, or issues or net zero carbon issues. That's from the service delivery point of view. How do we actually think the academics should do and the academic institution should embed the curricula or process in designing that part? That's from the service delivery point. Then who are the receptor of all those things? The receptors are none other than the students, the young bodies. Because we being as the academic, professor, we are always hanging around with the young minds, and we would like to see that, well, these young graduates eventually, after departure from the campus, that they are going to shine in their life, that none of them, we want to see that they are a failure. And we believe that, well, every single human being has some potential. It is us, we have actually designed a faulty education system. Therefore, most of the students nowadays, they are looking for job rather than thinking that they have some potentials to unleash and they can actually become somebody as an individual who is going to create some impact in the next life after the academic part. And we would like to see that, well, we are going to give you that hope and belief and trust that yes, you are going to be somebody individual who are not going to look for job, rather you are going to actually become even a job provider. So let me begin with Dr. Khimji first, because we are going again by the, title, page. Khimji, if you would like to share from both institutional side and being the students, what they should actually expect, in terms of, these 3 issues: zero poverty, zero unemployment, and also net zero carbon emissions can be,
okay. Great, thanks, Dr. Abdul.
All right, then, thank you.
Okay, so if you're looking for me in the online agenda, I'm not there. I'm a gate crasher. I just was asked by Dr. Abdul to come here, so I'm going to wing this as much as I can. So to answer the question, so I've actually written a course in Sydney in a university on the UN SDGs specifically. And the objective of the UN SDGs is to focus around employment and, of course, zero poverty, but focusing, of course, around those sort of key areas. And the objective for that was, I also used to run a minimum viable product, a government fund in Australia a few years ago, and we were funding MVP prototypes focused around poverty alleviation, employment creation, and export generation for the Australian market. So let me do some storytelling, all right? So if we take employment, hopefully high employment should mean lower poverty. And poverty alleviation, of course, creates employment. But who saw Elon Musk's tweet 2 days ago about the $1 billion one-person company? Anybody see the tweet? Yeah, a few people saw the tweet. So, and that company, by the way, came up in Australia, right? So, and I happen to know some of the guys who are part of that. So that's a risk for this 3 zeros. So I think we need to be mindful of that as well, because ChatGPT and all of the Gen AI sort of technology is going to have a challenge. So we have to bear that in mind and consider that concept as well. So if you think of this as entrepreneur and linking it to education, my view is that, and certainly when I'm taking executive MBA classes on innovation entrepreneurship, it is asking the students to think about what difference will they make, focus it around the UN SDGs, and how are they going to make those differences. Now, within the how is where I believe the zero poverty and the employment comes in. Because what you're doing is you're focusing around a global problem, right? And that global problem is going to result in domino effects of employment, opportunities, skills creation, skills generation. Then you take that to the next stage, and again, I think this really does come down to the mindset, both as academics and as wannabe entrepreneurs. I call them wannabe entrepreneurs because who is a born entrepreneur here? Who do you believe is a born entrepreneur here? Some of us are, right? Elon Musk is a born entrepreneur. Who would say Elon Musk and Steve Jobs are born entrepreneurs? They probably may admit it, may not in privately, right? But however, entrepreneurship comes through experiences and hard knocks of life. So if you connect that kind of mindset with the objective of the 3 zeros, I think what you're now creating is a lot of opportunity, focusing in around the as I said, the UN SDGs, but with that desire, that focus. And I come across a lot of entrepreneurs. I sit on the Sydney Angels, where we're always looking at entrepreneurs making investments. And I have my own startups that are spinning out of Torrens University. And what we do there is absolutely mindset has to be focused around employment, innovation, and pushing boundaries. Now, pushing boundaries is an easy term, right? I just said it quite easily. But that is the thing that I would ask everyone to think of, is how are you going to change the status quo? How are you going to make it easy for other people to follow your footsteps, is a kind of in-calculation mindset that I look for in students, and I also promote that while I'm teaching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khimji. He has eventually he focused on the mindset. Actually, social business education is the key for shaping a new mindset that puts the society's needs first. So that has to be understood by the students and young bodies. That's why we're actually focusing on social business heavily. I would go after him, the Dr. Farana Siddiq. If you could share your views on this perspective from both service delivery point from the academic institutions and also from the receptive side of the students.
Okay. Before that, can I share with you a few of my slides? Okay. At our university, the National University of Malaysia, we believe that social business education shouldn't be limited to classroom only. Okay, the learning of social business should also be extended or applied outside of the lecture hall or classroom. So in this slide, I'm going to share with you 2 initiatives that we currently are doing. So we have 2 current and future. Under current initiative, we have YCSB, UNO Center for Social Business. I know the acronym is a little bit different from other UNO Center at university. We are the first UNO Center in Malaysia, and we are very proud of that. So we managed to organize 2 activities under UNO Center for Social Business, academic and industry activities and student activity. And this is what we organized last year, a continuation from Social Business Day in Langkawi. We flew Professor Yunus and Lamia to Bangi to have a keynote address and roundtable discussion with industrial and government agencies, and we also invited a few public and private universities to join the discussion. And the discussion was very fruitful that it had to be extended to dinner table discussion. So yeah, and some of the ideas that we get from this discussion inspire us to to go forward with our future plan in terms of the social business activities. Okay, and then a few weeks ago, just a few weeks ago, we had Social Business Day showcase for our students. So we require them to come up with a social business idea and do a showcase of their business. So here we have a group of students. They came up with an idea of brainy bites, a healthy snacks. Yeah? And then here, this student, they work closely with a single mother community who are very talented tailors to make clothes so that they sell the clothes on behalf of the single mothers to help them with their cost of living. Yeah? And then here we have a student showcasing their prototype sorting bin, recycling bins. And then here we have a group of students selling PMS kit. Yeah. So PMS is a social problem, yeah, because happy women, they believe in happy women lead to happy world. So PMS is a serious problem on our campus. Yeah, so students, female students, some of them had to, absent from class because they have this problem they cannot manage. So this student, they sell a PMS kit. What they had in the kit is a hot water bag, a few female sanitary pad, and some snacks for a comfort food, I would say. Yeah. Okay, now this is our innovation lab. The next is our innovation lab. Under the innovation lab, I like to say that this is an integration of conventional entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. We work closely with our industrial partner, Pana Smart, where we have a full AI-operated convenience store. Okay, so we believe that these students need to be exposed with the current technology in the business. And then we have cafe, kiosk, and center. We have Budi Cafe, Budi Kiosk. In fact, the two students who operate this Budi Cafe is here, Adriana. Yeah, she's in charge of the operations of Budi Cafe. It's a social business project. They sell affordable foods to the students because majority of our students are from lower income families. So it's a project from the students for the students. Yeah? And we have our Budi kiosk located at the mosque. So every Friday, usually, people from around our community, university community, came to this mosque to have a meal, sell at them at an affordable price because we also impose a student price. Okay, and Kutub Khana is our next project, which I will explain later. And all of these activities cannot happen without the support of our research institutions at our universities and our potential partners and current partners, the local franchisor. Yeah? And then we also encourage our students to engage with the community, especially the indigenous community. We actually have a special relationship with the indigenous community at our university. Historically, they relocate themselves to a different location because they gifted us the land that we build our university. So we would like to consider the indigenous people as our part of our family. So we do edu-tourism with them, and we also do knowledge and technology transfer. And the last community engagement that we have is a partnership with an Islamic religious school. We have chili fertigation projects funded by Agrobank Malaysia. they were very kind to come in and support this project so that this school will no longer have to rely on private or public donation to run the school. So we are together with them, teaching them on how to do business so that in the future they can finance themselves with their own money. Okay, and for future plan is Kutub Khana, where as you can see, currently our innovation lab is quite scattered. Yeah, it's scattered around the campus. So Kutub Khana will be a centralized or a hub or a mothership, any term that you can use, yeah? Where we place all of this innovation lab under one roof. So this place will serve as a training center for the faculty students to hone their entrepreneurship skill, and its sustainability will be supported by local F&B and retail operators who will also provide training to our students. And besides eateries, we also plan to have a 24 hours AI convenience stores, okay, meeting and training rooms for the student and also for the outsiders, of course, with a charge or fees. We also need to sustain our business center, and a multi-purpose or open space for events such as busking and open mic sessions. So we need to keep up with what the current youth trend. Yeah? So they like to have that kind of space where they can gather and play music. So that's our plan for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farana Siddiq. Actually, from her presentations, we are able to understand that even for students, that you do not have to go too far for identifying the problems. I think many of you already heard Professor Yunus in the morning that he said that even around your campus there are social problems, there are problems in the campus, and many of you now try to motivate yourself and to figure out that whether any problem that is existing in your surroundings in the campus, you would be able to resolve those problems within the campus by designing a social business. And that is something that we really need to know, that the students are convinced that we can do that things, okay? Thank you, Farana. And I will call Sheril Mapula, and most of you know that, well, he's a young, entrepreneur. Also, Israeli professional fellow, social enterprise ideation and incubation. He is someone who actually harness those ideas in the campus with the young youths. So let us try to get your perspective also in the common, goal that we have in terms of ensuring these three goals, okay? Thank you.
Yes, I think I'm going to share what we do in two perspectives. Number one, people in academia who are developing or running programs. And number two, students right here who might not be that interested yet starting their own social businesses. As far as managing our programs and ensuring that 30 clubs in our campus are running, we made sure that we have systems in place that really support our students. I appreciate Dr. Farhana's programs where there is a full suite of experience that young students may want to help or volunteer in these specific programs. However, as we run our programs already, we've saw a specific gap in this. And I think this is a reminder to a lot of people in academia. We are so fixated in creating a program that works, one single program. And we have failed probably to remind ourselves that even the pathway towards entrepreneurship is so diverse. And we are fixated in building that path. So in Young Innovations of Foundation University, we have laid down multiple paths towards social business or social entrepreneurship. One of them is the 30 clubs. Probably right now, some of you students, in the student perspective, are not yet interested to start your own business. Probably you are into volunteerism. Probably you want to start a project that may help address the problems of the poorer communities around you. And for us, there is no problem with that. And I think it's also one way of immersing students into the realities of life. And eventually, the other pathways available in our university will allow you to conceptualize. That's why one of the pillars of in our program is idea generation. Right now, you don't have probably a business idea. You just have the passion to help people who are in need. So that's why we help and push students to generate those ideas. And when they're able to, that's when heavier idea generation, idea stage incubation comes in. So just to put things together in the perspective of 3 zeros in the campus, it is always important as people in academia. That's why I appreciate our panel members this morning. Shout out to Erwin and Paula running their programs, providing diverse paths to students. So it's important for us to create multiple paths and intentionally making it available to students. If a student decides to just be a volunteer for now, that student is not yet an X. That student is a potential or has a potential to become a social business entrepreneur in the future. In the perspective also of students, do not worry if this topic right now seems to be not penetrating you. But if you have the desire to help your communities, and I think one of the panelists mentioned it this morning, if you see a problem and you're concerned, that's already one important seed in you. So find a mentor who can help you create that social business or that community solution. So again, availability of pathways and pushing our students to see the realities of life so that they become the social business founders in the future.
Thank you, Sheril Mapula, for your, work that you are actually transforming young students in terms of giving opportunity for ideation and also, designing business models, those things actually. So I think the young minds, they are going to be motivated now that, well, from campus, you can also think of problems and you can also come up with the problems first, then you try to also think about that whether you can actually resolve those problems in terms of designing a business which is going to be sustainable in all respect, not only finance, So we want to convince you that we want to root the, belief that entrepreneurship can be the force for profound societal change. And social business, there is social business is demonstrating the paradigm shift rather than only focusing on profit, too much profit or gaining profit, only the financial part. But on top of it, we are also trying to say that, well, there are societal impact, there are positive, impact side that one can embed in the designing the business also. That's what we want to see, that the young minds are going to follow. So let me come back to the next presenter, Mike. Jack, Mike, you can, from the Pay Up University work and your own experience, try to give some perspective to the audience. Thank you.
Here we go. Okay, so I can give you the perspective from Thailand, which is where we're based. We're actually, I think we signed the 109th Social Business Center. I think we're 108. So we signed it last year. So it's a work in progress. Actually, I need the clicker. Our office looks like this. Down. Okay.
Up, down? Yeah.
That's our office at the moment. And hopefully by the time Professor Yunus comes to open it officially in November, it will look something like this. That's what the builders have promised us. So in terms of like the 3 zeros specifically, we haven't run many programs, but what we have been doing for many years now through the Center of Social Impact, which is kind of the precursor to this, is work with young people in Myanmar. So our focus has been mainly on change agents like yourselves, young people in Myanmar, and if you know something about what's happening in that country in terms of the catastrophic civil war, they are facing a lot of challenges. So we have, over the last couple of years, been doing a few things. So we have a program that is focused on rural youth who are studying to become change makers in their communities, and we've embedded social business into this program as a vehicle to help them achieve at least the zero unemployment and the zero poverty. Those students are facing immense challenges, as I'm sure you can imagine. We actually have to do things online, obviously, at the moment, because we can't enter the country. A lot of them are in IDP camps. They do their presentations on their mobile phones from the top of a mountain sometimes. And if I circle back to the student part for a second, it's always amazing to everyone involved how motivated and dedicated this generation, you guys, your generation, are to change. So I don't think there is an issue here about the willingness to change the world. I think for the new generation, they understand that that is an imperative. I think the only thing that is missing is maybe how to do it. And what we find with these programs is once we've kind of like given them this vehicle of social business as a means to helping their community, especially very poor farmers in remote areas who don't have market, mainly agricultural, obviously, or workers who are having to leave their villages and go to the cities or mainly come across the border to Thailand. That gives them hope. And we've been running it for a number of years now. We have 1,500 graduates. This year we have 146 who are in this cohort. Hopefully in November time, when Professor Yunus comes to Chiang Mai to open the center, they will be able to give their business pitches online for the social businesses. So that's one thing that we're doing. Another thing that we've started this year, they just started, 2 of them started last month, 1 of them is starting in a couple of weeks, are these 1-year certificate programs in social business or social entrepreneurship, community development, management. So thinking about how within a space of a year, it's not a university level program, it's a certificate program, which means that the educational qualifications are a lot lower because some of the barriers for especially students that come from remote areas is how do they get into universities if they don't have the qualifications. And Thailand has quite strict qualifications about entering university. So these certificate programs are a vehicle for then helping students who want to learn about social business, community development, how they can do it, how they can implement it, how they can then go back and help their communities. What we are planning to do in the next year or so, so there is a similar situation in our neighboring country, Laos, obviously not a civil war, but in terms of the educational opportunities and poverty, and how we can work with mainly NGOs, non-governmental organizations or civil society organizations to help them develop these kinds of programs. We are going to be developing this 3-0 clubs, and I've seen from students, at least at our campus, when they understand that there is this vehicle now, very well developed vehicle with all the materials and the clubs and the international connection, they're very interested in doing that. We're also hoping to start developing a bachelor's degree in social business and community development. It's a little bit challenging. We were talking, well, not we, the panelists before, were talking about the regulation in countries about developing programs and curriculums and things like that. So that's something that we're going to be working on over the next year or 2. And there's also an organization that kind of like does verification, not necessarily for social businesses, but the wider social enterprise community. And that is something that we're also looking at getting students involved in. So how can we use maybe interns to place them to be able to then learn about social business, but then also go and visit social businesses and look at what they're doing and kind of like at least initially do the verification part. And then back to the students, as I mentioned, and this is something that came up in the panel yesterday when we were talking about blockers. So, you know, why are students not getting engaged? What is stopping maybe students from starting their own businesses? And I really think it's not down, as I mentioned, to willingness or motivation. I think it really is simple as giving them a short introduction. Even the documentary is the perfect, right, the perfect vehicle for that. Hour and a half or an hour and 40, right? And just getting them to open their minds to the possibilities.
Thank you, you know, Mike. You have been doing great job in terms of designing programs for community development and entrepreneurships, and also being able to come up with some of the programs that you design as a certificate programs for 1 year or more. And then eventually you have a plan for also bringing into the main degree for bachelor degree. That's a great work that, well, we might get also from you some curriculum and other things that what you have actually incorporated. I would like to also try to focus on again the young students, because when you come to the academic institutions, most of you are always focused on degree and your grades and when are you going to get the certificates. That bachelor certificate or master's certificates is going to give you everything eventually. But that's not the world that we are living right now. Your certificates and grades are important. That's not going to give you a livelihood in the upcoming years and upcoming future. And believe that many of you are trying to isolate education part from the social business part right now, thinking that, well, these are two separate issues and things that we should not think about it. Rather, we always try to focus that, well, social business and education is not mutually exclusive, nor even they are separate from each other. They do have some overlapping things. They are intertwined in terms of going together with the life journey of you, and you will see that, well, you are going to shine like anybody. Those who have been successful in their own career and the life journey, that's what being a professor for last 36 years, both in the US, Canada, and Bangladesh, I can guarantee you that you are going to be one of the most successful individual in terms of fulfilling your goal, in terms of creating impact, and also in terms of actually achieving what you are actually trying to achieve in your life. So try to rely on those social business concept even at the very young age. This is going to give you a new psyche of thinking that, well, while I'm a student, I have to also think about the social problems, and I will try to resolve one simple small problems from this campus and let me drive my patients to go for my next life journey. So don't think that, well, while I'm pursuing a degree, I cannot do the social business and social engagement, voluntary work. I would like to emphasize on your patience. Wherever your patients are driving you, go on that directions. Thank you very much, Mike, for your work that you have been doing. I'm coming back to Professor Lin Wing Xing. He is actually associate professor of accounting and information systems, but he is the executive of YSBC director of the YSBC at what you call Kaohsiung, University of Science and Technology in Taiwan. Very veteran person, and he is doing great work for the young minds to change. Thank you.
Okay. I'll be standing and talking to you. Now, I'm going to deviate a little bit, and I'm talking about a whole picture, bigger pictures, okay? My topic is Taiwan corporate social responsibility and social business, okay? I will first provide you with some background statistics, and then we'll talk about the YSBC in Taiwan. And this is Taiwan, according to IMF statistics, okay? Now, we got GDP growth of 3%, which is very good. And our currently GDP per capita is 34,000. Now, 34,000 is that rank 21, okay? And which is, you can see 21 next to Poland, but there is no number. Why? Because we're not a member of the United Nations, and because of China, we're not listed as a country, okay? But our importance cannot be ignored, okay? Now, I want to talk about the corporate social spendings and social business. Now, let me briefly explain to you how much is the corporate social spending now in Taiwan. We have 948 listed companies and 782 OTC off-the-counter companies, okay? And their total spending, market capitalization, the total worth is $2 trillion US. And about 1% is their social spendings, which is around 20 billion each year, okay? Now, on average of these 900 companies, every company in our stock exchange have to spend 21 million US dollars per year on social business, okay? And now, let me give you a more concrete example. For example, like Taiwan semiconductor companies, which is well known, and they spend about 2 to 3 billion US dollars per year, okay? So, as a result, we have abundant monetary support for social business. But the question is, how do we use this money, okay, to achieve a better life in Taiwan, to protect our environment, okay? So this is a challenge for us and for everybody here, okay? Questions, number one, how the achievement of Taiwan has been reached in less than 50 years, okay? Every year, we always have near zero unemployment, okay? And we have double-digit growth, okay? And this is so-called miracles, okay? But unlike China, there is many side effects. Taiwan, you heard, very little about it, okay? So how do we achieve? Okay? Now, to give you a hint, entrepreneurships, okay? That's why Dr. Yunus is so popular in Taiwan. Remember, we are job creators, okay? We're not job seekers, okay? We make mission impossible. We're excited at the impossible things, okay? We overcome and we succeed, all right? Now, this is a TSMC, okay? The world's largest semiconductor companies. Now, you can look at the trees and look at the left. So, social and green is their target. Another example is Khimji. Khimji, the famous Buddhist philanthropic organizations. And how large is their annual budget? Their annual budget is 80 billion Taiwan dollars, and which is nearly 270 million US dollars. And they are operating disaster relief and other philanthropic program in more than 60 countries and runs 12 hospitals around the world. Okay, now this is the logo and this is the hospitals, and they are very, very famous. They were everywhere, including Manila and including many remote islands of Philippines. And they are the Magsaysay Award winner, okay? What's happening recently in Taiwan, okay? We are the focus of the lights, okay? Now, AI, okay? AI is creating another round of wealth for Taiwan, okay? Now, we are in the center of these revolutions, and we are having rapid economic growth, okay? And this creates the pie. The pie becomes bigger the more for the social spendings, okay? Now, Jensen Huang, he said, okay, he's the CEO of NVIDIA. We're moving from PC to internet to mobile cloud, and then finally we reach artificial intelligence. Taiwan we have a complete industrial supply chains from chip design, manufacturing, packaging, testings, and we're producing servers, robots, PCs, chips for car, for home appliances, and many chips for IoTs. Everything is connected by internet, and in every internet connecting, you will find chips from Taiwan, okay? Now you can see that Taiwan is in the center of it, and there's well over 200 companies supplying 92% of high-level chips and 50% for low-level chips for whole world, okay? For every 4 PCs sold, 1 is from Taiwan, okay? Now, let me tell you a contrast. Everybody knows that the oil dependence, okay? Now, the OPEC oil only produce 28% of the oil of the world total output. Remember, 28%, okay? But for Taiwan, we account for 92% of high-level chips and 50% for middle-level chips. So if Taiwan stops, the world stops, okay? Now, this is the 10 largest companies in the world, okay? You can see that the third is NVIDIA, is Jensen Huang, he's from Taiwan. And the number 8 is TSMC, okay? Now, let's look at the next top 10 computer companies. You will observe that right after Apple, it's Acer. Right after Acer is ASUS. That's 2 of the largest companies from Taiwan, okay? Now, the other thing is called industrial robots. Many people haven't noticed the importance of this AI revolutions. In the future, all of the robots are so versatile, they can do all kinds of work, okay? It's because of advanced chips and AI applications, okay? And the main source of supply will be from Taiwan, okay? Now here comes the interesting part. NVIDIA started as a graphic card producers, okay? Everybody knows that graphic cards are very cheap, okay? How come they will be able to defeat giants like Intel? Now, 10 years ago, Intel is 1,000 times of NVIDIA. Today, NVIDIA is 100 times of Intel, okay? So why? How can NVIDIA defeat Intel? The question is accelerated computing and parallel computing. It's entrepreneurship against conventional thinking. Intel thinks CPU is good enough, right? But alternative thinking said, no. CPU operates by sequential computings. Once it's tied up by chores, it slows it down. So if we can have graphical processing unit handling the chores, like pixels, like likeness, like color, it free the capability of CPUs. So when you expand GPUs, you are creating accelerated computers. You are creating supercomputers, and you can do AI computings, okay? Now, this is alternative thinking. This is unconventional thinking. This is Yunus style of thinking, okay? Now, this is a GPU, okay? Now, so in the future, when you buy computers, it will come with 3 CPUs, okay? One is traditional CPUs, one is with GPUs, and one is with neural processing unit, because without these, you won't be able to do AI computings, okay? Now I want to talk about the importance of social business, okay? Now, according to Adam Smith mentioned a very famous example of pins, okay? He said, if workers, if each one have divisions of labor, they were able to produce 48,000 pins per day. But if they don't have divisions of labor and specialization, they cannot even one person produce a pin per day, okay? So remember, increasing specializations of labor.
Yes, Professor
Okay?
Shin. Yeah,
Now,
time is-
Okay. Now this is the factory. Okay. This is all right. Now now I'll skip this one. Okay. Social business. We are expert in doing good things. We're increasing the specialization and divisions of labor. We have positive contribution to the societies. Okay. Now I will stop here for a while, and I will accept questions, and we can have discussions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Yangxing. I think from his talk, the young minds also going to agree on the way the future is actually changing as the convergence of technology. You all also try to be convinced that, well, there are plenty of things that you can also do in line with embedding technology. Even thinking about the social problem can also be resolved. He was actually trying to focus on all sort of AI and then robotics, then Internet of Things. We always talk about those neural networks, the deep learning, the machine learning, Internet of Things. If you would like to resolve the problems in our day-to-day life, for example, a refrigerator, the upcoming days we are not going to use the common refrigerator that we are using. Refrigerator is going to alert you that milk inside the fridge is going to be expired in 1 hour. Let you eat the milk. And so you see, well, how things, even the social problems, the problems in terms of using your resources, because one of the huge problem in the whole world right now is resource depletion. That is what is actually, because of our overconsumption of all those things is happening. So technology, from his talk, we have been able to understand that technology is the ultimate solution. And as you see that, well, NVIDIA has become one of the largest companies in the world in very quick and first time, because they have embedded the neural processing CPU and all those things in their business designing. So I think this is what we have to agree. Let me come back to our last panelist, Vishwajeet Goos. He is an UNOS fellow, has been doing great things in terms of also giving entrepreneurial training and other things from even apart from the campus, non-formal type of educations through online. So let's hear from Vishwajeet Goos. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I just have, I think, 5 minutes left for this panel session to end. And the bulk of the audience here are all college students. Some are feeling sleepy. You wake up your fellow mate around, because I'm not going to show any slides now. I'm going to show you a video. So I hope you like watching a video than seeing more slides, because I think the esteemed panel has covered a lot of wonderful concepts. I don't have anything left to talk about. So, see this video. Please understand, if you have come to a college and you have not dropped after your basic education, you have not dropped after your school, it is because you have come here to gather skills which will make you have a secure future. Am I right? Now, you cannot underestimate the importance of entrepreneurial skills to build your future, because the world is changing so much that this is something which will always come useful to you. So this video is about how a few colleges and universities in India are promoting an internship on entrepreneurship skills and social business. So this is what I've been doing as part of my UNIS fellow work. We have this social business called Nobin Entrepreneurship Foundation, which is inspired by the Nobel Udyokta program in Bangladesh. So in rural Bangladesh, over 150,000 people in the last 10 years have become entrepreneurs through the support of this program. So that's where we felt promoting entrepreneurship is something basic all of you college students must understand. So have a look at this video, and I would encourage a lot of universities to work together with us, probably replicate such programs. I mean, we have great people in this hall and a lot of learned people who can actually make a huge difference by contributing to entrepreneurship skill development. So watch the video. Thank you.
I'm pleased to invite you to join a special internship program. This internship will offer you a unique opportunity to learn about social business and Professor Yunus's vision of building a world of 3 zeros. Learn from industry experts, engage in live interactions, participate in group discussions. Please stay tuned and be ready to empower yourselves.
This will be very exciting learning session as because there is a lots of cases still.
Please join us for this session to expand your knowledge and be inspired.
Super nice program for the 3-0 Club members. We look forward to engage 3-0 Club members so that they can learn, are ready to start and build their own social businesses.
This program is specially designed for students who are eager to dive into the world of Grameen methodology, microcredit, social business, and entrepreneurship.
We are supposed to be job creators, not job seekers. But how do we actually make it happen? How do we inspire youths to become entrepreneurs? That's what this knowledge series is all about.
And you are welcome to explore this journey with us.
All human beings are born entrepreneurs, and you are one of them. You can be a job seeker, or you can be an entrepreneur. So you decide what you want to do.
Thank you very much, Vishwajeet Goos. Yeah, please have a seat. I think we are convinced now, in terms of seeking knowledge, you do not have to be always under the auspices of a campus or an university or an academic institution. Since knowledge is actually floating anywhere and everywhere. It is you are going to have a patience for achieving knowledge or gaining knowledge. And if you are a person who is going to seek for new knowledge every time, you are going to be an accomplished individual. So I would like to get from each of you in very quick and short one comment or suggestions or recommendations for these students from your part, that how do they are going to be energized in the upcoming future without being trusting too much on the academic certificate-based degree program.
Okay, we have 14 YSBC universities in Taiwan, and we have around 300 3-0 clubs, and we welcome the international partners, students, to join us in the YSBC programs, Yunus Camp trainings, Grameen School, and become a partners of a 3-0 club. Thank you.
Okay, my advice to the student is you have to start now. Be involved because we are talking about your future. So start now. Thank you.
Thank you. My suggestion would be find a mentor and a good one. Somebody who's seen a few Christmases and who has a few more gray hair than you. That's the first thing. The second thing, my suggestion is join an ecosystem because an ecosystem, an entrepreneurial ecosystem such as Silicon Valley, everybody's trying to replicate, but I'm sure you can find one in your city as well.
Okay, I think I'll just follow on what Dave said. Start now, find a mentor, and don't be afraid to fail. It sounds like a cliche, but regardless of what you will do right now, if you plan to start your own entrepreneurial venture, don't be afraid to fail. Each one of us in front of you failed in one way or another in our lives, but we still made it here in front of you, and never doubt yourself, okay? So don't be afraid and start doing things.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just.
So my last advice in the context of the video that you have seen, build your entrepreneurship skills. Please understand that this is the best part of your life where you have undivided time and attention to study. And studying entrepreneurship skills is equally important to studying all the other subjects that you have. Study online. You need not have it as a curriculum in your college, but you have so much of opportunities today. In our times, we didn't have internet the way you can utilize it. So you're also welcome to join this particular program that we are launching, and we would love to have your comments and your engagement into this. Thank you.
All right, once again, thank you very much, these team panelists. You all have added huge value to my dear students. I would always try to say that, well, you try to have your faith on social business because it can serve as agents of change, and social business is offering as a beacon of hope in the upcoming future. With all this, thank you very much, the beautiful audience, for your patient hearing, and thank you all the panelists once again. Thank you.